Alright, we're getting into the tough part of these videos now. This is the making the case for HRX. I've got to make the case for Trifecta. And I'm not going to lie, guys, that is not an easy one. That is not going to be an easy one by any means. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the videos. If you want to see me talk about those other 8 teams, or the other 7 teams, 8 total, they're going to be at DreamHack. I'm going to have those videos slowly trickling in as we make our way towards Friday for the DreamHack event. And make sure you fill out your bracket as well. That way I know who you think's going to make it. I'll have the link in the description, so make sure you check it out. But yeah, we got to make the case for Trifecta. And the reason why I say it's tough, it's not just because this is a team that I think is probably the least consistently performing out of the 8 here, but they have an incredibly difficult bracket to make it through. It's the second hardest to Space Stations, obviously. They're the 8th seed, and they've earned the hardest bracket. But you had to play Trifecta, or rather, you had to play United, you had to play probably Rival, and then you had to play probably Dignitas. Not easy by any means. And it's how it should be, right? Trifecta just barely made it through. They had some struggles at the very start of the placement stage, looked good since then, and it's been largely on the back of Paul and Sam for soccer, so they shouldn't have an easy way to earn it the whole time. But if they're able to beat United, if they're able to beat anyone, it is going to be off the back of Paul and Sam for soccer, who I think, if willpower were a physical manifestation of a thing, you know, you'd have been able to see it in the room with them when Trifecta played their games. I mean, towards the end of their actual qualifier game to make sure they made it to DreamHack, you saw Paul and Sam literally split off. Their characters left the other 3 to do their own thing and said, "We're making it to DreamHack. Okay, guys, it's going to be us." And it was over in that place of CLG, who's very likely going to make it, in Mouse, who was right there as well. So a very hard fought spot for Trifecta. It's just tough to give them a true chance. I wouldn't pick them over anyone else, but I also can't rule it out and say that it's impossible because of how well Paul and Sam have been playing. And not just that, but as the tournament went on, Zapman started getting more confident and more consistent as well, and that's a scary thing. A confident, aggressive Zapman who's being backed up by good play, that's hard to beat. The reason that Zapman made Worlds, but Zapman didn't. Guys, I'm sorry, I had to make the joke. I don't know what... Did you come into a Trifecta video expecting anything differently? So they have a chance to beat United, a chance to beat then Energy or Rival, most likely Rival, and a chance to then beat Dignitas towards the end, though I think that they are, even more so than Space Station, my least likely team to make it. I have given that a ton of consideration to them making it beyond that very first round, but I didn't think that they were going to make it here at all. I thought it was going to be Mouse in this slot, and then if not Mouse, CLG, and then Trifecta. So they've proven me wrong already. I have made no money betting against Trifecta so far. So if you're a Trifecta fan, remember that. Remember that they weren't supposed to even be here, and they're playing with house money, and they absolutely have a good chance to get this win. Let's talk about the team themselves, though, a little bit. I already went through them some, but talked about them in a little bit more detail. I think if there's some places with some question marks, it's 100% this dual lane for me. Neil looked damn near like a liability, I would say, throughout the event. There are times where Neil was just too far forward, giving his life away, isolated from the team, not on the same page. I'm not in the comms with them. I'm not in the room. I don't know the reason. I just know the result, which is that more often than not, Neil's dying for nothing, and the team is losing because of it. So that's got to get cleaned up. Whatever it is, whatever the utensil, the tool is that cleans it up, they got to find it and get that done. Also, Zapman. I mean, at the beginning of that tournament, my man looked AFK. And Zap and I aren't particularly close. Hopefully he knows I got mad respect for him and what he does, but I have to call it like I saw it. And at the beginning of that tournament, he was doing almost nothing. He was a liability too. I think that more so than Neil, Zap turned it on though, the way that the tournament went. And I kept saying it, that he looked more engaged, he was more vocal. You could see him diving, landing his shots. If Zap can get in rhythm like we saw towards the end of placements, then he could be scary. The problem is, they're not going to have a ramp-up phase. You know, they're not going to get to play SGS and Signum and get to ramp up. You got to come in ramped and ready to go, or else you're going to struggle. The good news is you've got Paul and Sam on your team who are made the Herculean effort of getting you guys here. I mean, they're absolutely lights out. Paul is just better than most people at the game. And I mean most pros at the game. He just wins his matchups. He picks these aggressive gods. He recognizes where his opportunities are to get hits, especially on things like Blah. He'll play Kronos. He'll play Agni. I mean, he'll play Discordia. He'll play anything and just play it better than you. He's so good for this team. So is Sam. having to really dig deep and make sure they can make it. And from what I'm hearing, Paul has like these nerves of steel. He does not get nervous. He's able to stay calm, stay level-headed in these matchups. I can't express how important that is. They're not going to get a second chance to like regroup as a team after a loss and try and recover. It's a single elimination. So someone like that who can stay calm in the moment is going to be key. Then there's Scary D. I didn't speak much about him because I didn't see much from him. Hopefully that'll be different at the LAN. We'll certainly get a chance to see how it ends up working, but they're going to 100% need him. There's too many good solo laners. Variety's there. Deathwalker's going to be there. Aquarius is going to be there as well. I mean, there's too many good solo laners. Maniac there too for your solo laner to just kind of tread water. As long as he shows up, Trifecta have a good shot. Not a great shot, but they have one nonetheless. Again, make sure you submit your bracket. I'll have a link in the description. And make sure you're watching. We're starting Friday. Be there. You don't have to be at the venue if you can't be. Just make sure that you're watching the games, and we'll bring the best of them that they can to you. If you're a Trifecta fan, they're going to need your support. As long as they're in the tournament, you're going to make sure that you're right there watching.